In seldom, involuntary celibacy is accepted in polygamous societies. In fact, it's not only accepted, it is the end goal of polygamous societies. Okay, it's the end goal. It's the end goal of some guys with resources will have access to a lot of women, and then other guys with no resources will have zero women. So that's actually the goal. It's the opposite of what you see in monogamous societies. So if you were to compare Islam to Christianity, the main difference is that Christianity uh, uh, tries to be uh, tries to help people, tries to help the weak, the poor, like it says in the Bible, right? Like, help the poor, help the weak, help the men who can't get women, the men who don't have access to women. So we're gonna impose monogamy so that men could have access to women, and therefore every man could be married, and therefore society is gonna be more fair, more just. That's the end goal of Christianity. In Islam, the whole notion of polygamy is that only those men who deserve it, who have those resources, should have access to women. That's actually the end goal, right? Those societies, those countries, they want you to be an incel if you don't have what it takes. It's not being an incel in those places is not the it's not a coincidence. So it's not just a byproduct of the marketplace, the dating marketplace, where okay, some guys go out, they talk to women, they're successful, and other guys go out and they fail, right? That's not what it is. It's actually the end goal where the government or the authority in that country, they want guys with nothing to offer to not reproduce. They want you to not reproduce. And that's why fornication is also not allowed. It's like, well, we don't want you to reproduce at all. We don't want you to have any chance at reproducing because you have no resources, you have nothing to offer, you're not helping the economy or the country in any way. So not only will you not be able to get a relationship, but also you're not even able to get laid. It's forbidden. It's illegal. And if we catch you, you're going to jail and you're going to be punished severely. That's actually the end goal in Muslim countries. But the end result a lot of times is you just see a lot more crime in those places. Right? Guys just kind of lash out and express that. So that may be the downside to it, to that type of system. But that was the thought process behind it. Okay. So when dudes say, oh, okay, the future is polygamous, we're moving towards a polygamous future because simply because of hypergamy, uh, could be, could be. But remember that polygamy is first and foremost a governmental system. It's a legal system first and foremost. It's not something that just kind of randomly appears, randomly takes place. Okay, governments have a way to affect that, to change that, to control that. They may or may not allow it. In those countries where it's allowed because they think that's the best thing. It's not allowed because that's the natural process taking place in society. It's allowed because indeed government those governments think it's the best thing. So if you happen to be in Saudi Arabia and you happen to be a prince and you have $100 million, the government thinks it's better for you to spread that money, to share that money with many wives, have children with many wives, who will be able to take care of those children, right? The government's not thinking, oh, you should only marry one woman and take that money and only share with that one woman. It's like, well, you should marry multiple women and share that money with all of them. So, on an economic aspect, it makes sense. So, you may tend to see less inequality in a polygamous society because the dudes with money kind of have to share that money and spend that money with all these different women. In a monogamous society, you see these rich billionaires. They're married to one woman. They have children with that one woman, and they only spend that money. They only spend that money on the children that they have with that one woman. Okay, but if they had 4 or 5 wives, that would be completely different. So that's also another way to kind of regulate that. But obviously, in a monogamous system, what ends up happening is, well, yeah, there may be more economic inequality, but there's more demographic diversity. Because if every guy is able to get married, or most guys are able to get married and have children, well, that's a more diverse uh, uh, gene pool, as opposed to if it's only one guy that's reproducing across the board, or if it's only a small number of dudes reproducing with all the women. So keep that in mind. Don't think that polygamy is just like a natural process. A lot of times it's governments that want it because they think it's better for resource allocation and so on and so forth. But it's just a thought. It's just a thought. Let me know what you think about that in the comments.